Hi, my name is Lisa, and I am a real bookaholic. Thank you so much for taking time to listen to a couple minutes of one of the millions of books that I'm constantly buying and reading. Um, I'm in a 5-day TikTok challenge. Actually, today was the last day with the absolute rock star named Liz Brown, who is also at eXp Realty. Saw her on stage in Cabo a few weeks ago at the big mastermind that we had down there. And one of the things that's been talked about every single day in the 5 days is who are you? Who are you authentically? What does that really mean? How are you showing up? There were so many people that felt very nervous about being who they were. Maybe they were too high D. Maybe they were too chatty. Maybe they were too slow. Maybe they were too fast. Maybe they swore too much. But whatever those things were, that's who they were. And the whole idea of using TikTok for an outcome or any social media platform is to continue to attract your tribe. Well, if you want to attract your tribe, you've got to get more in touch with who you are. So I went back to one of the OGs, Leigh Brown. Leigh Brown wrote a book, actually, the copyright's 2015. I was kind of interested to see that, called Outrageous Authenticity. You are your best sales weapon. If you know Leigh Brown at all, you'll know that the idea of outrageous followed by authenticity would be a really great way to describe Leigh. Leigh is an amazing realtor in the North Carolina area. Been very involved in association leadership for years, and that's how I actually have met her. So it's a great little book. It's a short read. Definitely, find it. We're gonna put the link in the post in the comments here in YouTube. It is absolutely worth every penny, and I recommend, even though it was written in 15, it's still incredibly valuable today, especially as we're more and more on social media. So a couple of quick high points that I want to make sure I mention. One of them is that Leigh talks about with what most sales coaches do talk about, and certainly Tony Robbins, one of my biggest mentors, that if you ask better questions, you're going to get better answers. And that for salespeople, myself included, when you ask a question, please wait for the answer and really listen to that answer, and then ask some more questions based on that answer. Many of us who are super high D, high I ask a question and then go rambling over everything that person might have said, might have answered. And we do everyone a great disservice by not being better listeners. So ask good questions, be a great listener. She talks about, taking an approach to social media and social media marketing and if you know Leigh, she would use this analogy, a shotgun versus a rifle. So I'll just leave that where it is. If you know Leigh, you'll know what that means. But what she's talking about is that when you have a shotgun approach to marketing or your presence on social media, you're kind of spraying all over the place, and you're not really, you're not going to be able to attract your tribe. Versus a rifle, which I guess because I've never shot or held or even been around either, but a rifle definitely is more focused. And the idea here and the point that Leigh's trying to bring up is that we need to be very focused, and being your authentic self helps you do that. Also, present all of you. If you're a realtor, don't just put things about houses. In fact, I might recommend that you don't say a whole ton about houses, because you know what? Houses, I sold a house, we're going to sell this house, we're going to list this house. It's kind of boring. It may not be boring to the seller, but that's one person. And the rest of the world probably isn't that interested that you finally close that deal. Who are you really besides a realtor? Yes, you're a realtor. Do you care about certain things in the realtor world? For example, I'm huge into the Realtor Political Action Committee, RPAC, been a major investor for years. Love to talk about wonky stuff that has to do with transfer taxes and all the things that we do in real estate. But who else are you? I'm a grandma of beautiful Eloise Ann, who's 2 years old. I love scuba diving. I go dive whenever I possibly can, by myself, on trips. I still go, I love to dive. I'm a puppy mom. We have our 8-year-old lab, Joy, who is just the joy of my life. I'm a mom, I'm a wife, and I also grow orchids. You see a couple here. We had an amazing, I think I have 10 or 12 plants that are trying to bloom right now. So those are things about me. So I post about those things. They are authentically me. Scuba diving, glamour, orchid growing, Lisa, right? And people who would be interested in any of those things, and wonky political activists, would be interested in me. So I think that's really important. And then when things come over the bow that really matter to you, whether it's something in your community, whether it's a concern, let's say right now for the Ukrainian people. We're in a space in our world right now where that's an issue for folks. If there's an issue that really matters to you, then share it. Share what matters. Share things that are important to you. That's who you are and what you can bring to the world. In terms of selling, I love one point that Leigh makes about that knowledge sells. We know that, and it's so true. But I think about, I was just catching up with Million Dollar Listing LA, which I love. It's a guilty pleasure. I love all of them, especially Tracy Tudor. But there's a little spinoff with Josh Altman and Josh Flagg. Very different kinds of realtors, if you're interested, or maybe you know. But Josh Flagg, who is incredibly annoying and not really, for me, not someone who I would be having dinner with probably, is incredibly knowledgeable. One thing I will absolutely give him is he knows every corner and every story about every property. He knows the lineage of the home. He knows the architect. He knows the quality of the tiles in the ceiling, the roof. I mean, he really, really knows everything about whatever property, whatever market. He makes it a point. He's like, photographic, encyclopedic. I mean, that is so impressive to me. And I think that's one of the ways that he sells, When you are super authentic in your life, and certainly on social media, you're going to have critics. You're going to have haters. And Leigh reminds us that we have to embrace criticism. That means people are paying attention. I just listened to Liz Brown, who did the 5-day TikTok challenge with us, say that there's all kinds of hot conversation on some of her pretty outspoken posts. She doesn't even read it. She sees it's there. And she's like, woohoo, that's kind of hot in there. But she doesn't even read it. So, know that it's going to happen. Embrace it to the extent that, you want to learn what people are saying. Try not to take it personally. Lean into others that love you and support you and kind of work through that. But it means that people are paying attention, And lastly, whatever you do, hopefully you can continue to find a way that makes you feel like you're making an impact in your community, making an impact for your family, and changing lives. I feel so fortunate to be where I am in my life right now, to be able to do that for agents that I work with, agents that might be interested in joining our team, and changing lives and impacting lives in that way. So hopefully that was a quick overview, not that quick, but we'll cut some of it down. The book is Outrageous Authenticity by Leigh Brown. And I think you should definitely run out, pick up a copy. You will learn a lot, and look forward to the next time I see you on Bookaholic.